This video is about democracy and the various opposing forces that occur in a democracy. So, the dominant media industries, how do they depict democracy? I think I'm going to create a blog and do some film critique of this in the future, but I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, that's just a little thing. But yes, but this democracy and our participation in democracy. So the media often connotes the idea that participation in democracy is diminished, and is this necessarily true? So I'm not entirely sure what the polling figures are, and I haven't looked into this. But there is a number of issues in a democracy. So, and the main one being corruption. So the nature of corruption. So, what is corruption? So it tends to be extortion. So I don't know if anyone follows my page. Oh, it's a strange one. I can't remember the name of it. I have problems with my memory. But yes, I started a page on Facebook, and it's meant to be like a way to help people in dark times and find a voice. But it's difficult to discuss things because people are afraid in this society. So some people are afraid to have an opinion and afraid to speak their mind and to discuss things that matter in our world. And there seems to be an element of darkness taking over. But what happens when this occurs, and what happens to our freedom of speech, and what happens to our international relations, and the thing that these governing bodies like the WHO, NATO, these very important bodies that want peace and humanity and try to solve wars and reach solutions to our environmental crisis. So we cannot deny that there's an environmental crisis going on, and it's been like when did we start developing oil and refining oil and the production of plastics. So I haven't looked into the history of this, and I know it seemed quite dumb, but I'm not sure if it was like in the last 100 years. So the thought that we could strip out our resources in the 100 years, to me that's just astounding. So, and like there seems to be an element of like this reality to the serious things in our society. Like people seem to be in a slumber, and I did not understand this, and I was in a slumber. So I was just like, hmm. But I've been finding things out about myself and understanding this slumber. So how do people wake up from this slumber? And that's the question. So, like, when you're surrounded by things. So something I've discovered, which is not quite related to this, but is morality. So, like, uh, sometimes when people are around you, you don't realize how shocking their words are. So take me for example. I live in just a normal working class. It said working class town, but I've been discovering some things about this, and it's a concept of urbanized ghettos. So what is an urbanized ghetto? It's a ghetto that's got lots of corruption. It's got a character assassination, and it's got people doing dirty deeds to gain things. So how would I prove that this is the case? Well, I've had things going on in this ghetto, like people driving around in circles. So there was lots of talk on the internet of gang stalking. So there's people on the line saying that there's gang stalking going on, and there's all this like craziness, like mental illness associations with this, and people saying there's chips in their heads and things. So it's quite crazy. But yeah, but this gang stalking does occur, and usually it's related to extortion. So the tactics you use is shame and the assassination of character. And the other thing that happens is I don't want to discuss it, but there's something else that happens, and that's a key element to what goes on with this gang stalking. So, I have trauma from my childhood, and there was things that occurred that I didn't know it occurred. So I've been speaking for like day 9 now. So, I haven't been sleeping as much. So, and I went from someone who was just so regressed and wouldn't form an opinion and just was held in themselves to suddenly discovering things I never knew about myself. So this is suspicious, and also these changes in voices. So I was having memories of being taken to places and speaking to different people. So I'm pretty sure that's where I got the different accents from. So this is my London accent, and I've got different variations of the London accent. I've got memories of being in London when I was 6 and going to different places, going to like really rough areas like Hackney, and I just have memories. There was houses and stuff, but I can't remember the ins and outs of it. But so that's something that occurs. So sometimes people get taken, and things happen to them. So yeah. So I don't know if that's what happened to me, but like it's a bit suspicious. So like one day you're just a normal person, like that you feel stupid, you feel like you're not good enough, and you just like, and then all of a sudden like you're remembering things and you're getting these memories, and there's all this gang stalking and misinformation and character assassination. So I experienced an attack from people. So a group of LGBT people like attacked me once. So it was about 2015. So like they basically drugged me, and they were doing all sorts of strange behavior that I never experienced before. So because I was drugged by them, like I wasn't all there, so I had PTSD and I was getting flashbacks. So after it, so the things they were doing was reminding me of things that had occurred in my childhood. That's what I've realized. So they seem to know things about my trauma. So and I was a bit suspicious, like when I came to realize this. So I've only started to realize this recently. So it's been 10 years. So I spent 10 years in isolation, and 4 of those years I've spent, well, probably about 6 or 7 of these years I've been in and out of mental institutions. Now, I don't want to discuss the ins and outs of these mental institutions, but there's also a female injustice going on in this world, and people are partaking in such things for political and economical gain. Now, this is a dangerous area because it would suggest that our politics is long lost and gone in our society, and I do not want to believe that all politicians are corrupt and evil. So this concept, where does it come from and is it true? So I don't think it is true. Like surely not, we're not that far lost. So surely like these politicians have a heart and a soul. Like yeah, they've got families, like they have people in their friend groups, like surely they've got education. So there's things I have to question and consider, and I'm a bit confused. So I'm going through a process, but I just wanted to get people's thoughts on this and provoke thought. But I don't know if people will actually engage in my videos and think and discuss things with their friends, and they might not even watch these videos. But I felt I had to do something because my character was assassinated. I'm going through things. I'm not getting the support that I should be getting. I'm not getting the mental health services. I've got a CPN, and I did have a support worker, but the discussion was rather interesting to say the least. So, like every time I speak to my support worker and I tell her, so I told her how I went through childhood trauma, and I had been recovering my intellect. So, and like remembering having intellect as a child. So I was a really smart child, and which was a bit strange because my parents were like working class. So I don't know where this intellect came. So they claimed it came from my father and my grandfather because he was a lecturer. So that's the claim they told me, but I never seen my father. They were separated, and I never had my grandfather. So if they're claiming that the DNA made me an intellect, very suspicious, and the languages. So yeah, so my mom was like, "Oh yes, your grandfather studied languages. He studied German." Well, the languages I've been speaking are not German, so I don't know what they are. I don't understand them, but it's very strange. So that's something that's occurring, and there was other people who were like mentally abusing me and saying that I needed exorcism. So there was a group of males in a flat that had a partner, and there was lots of drama and rumors, and there was things going on like controlling behavior, and like that has a knock-on effect on my confidence and self-esteem. And I couldn't see it for what it was, but I had to get away from it. So there was that. But I don't mean to cause drama and like stir up things from the past. Like I've been working on my confidence, and yes, although it hurts to think that that could occur and these things could happen, I've like been trying to work towards moving forward with my life. So I'm not going to be like looking for validation in my experience. But what will happen in the future, I probably want to help people and make sure it doesn't happen to them. So that's the thing. But it feels like there's an anticipatory movement on every actions I do, which is a bit suspicious, and it feels like I'm getting circled sometimes. And often when people say things like this, they connote the idea that they're mentally ill and disturbed. So yes, I have mental illness, and but the definition of my illness is questionable. So like first they diagnosed me with bipolar, and then they said I was schizoaffective disorder. Every time I tried to discuss my trauma, like I told people that I had been raped because I remembered it, and I was getting snippets of memories like flashbacks. So I get flashbacks quite regularly, but yes, so they just deny my experience. So you have to question like what is going on in our mental health services that women who've been raped are getting their experiences denied. And then there's these other women you see in the media that discuss their stories. And I'm like, what is actually happening? So why are some women getting heard and their voices getting heard, and others women's voices not getting heard? So it's not right. So I don't know what else to say, but yeah. So this democracy and extortion and assassination of character, this is something I've experienced, and I've experienced progression of my intellect and recovery of memories. So I just thought, what can I do to deal with this? And I thought maybe I make an effort and try to get my point across. And yeah, so I struggle with speaking to people. So I feel like sometimes there's a snap in my head. So and it's limiting me. So like I go to the shop, and these people who are surrounding me in this small place that I live, they're triggering me. So like they do things with their glasses, and like one of the men that hurt me that I know, he had glasses, so it's a reminder. But sometimes it just seems a bit too much, like it seems intentional. So they say that's like PTSD and reminders of your trauma, but I'm not entirely sure of that. Like having all the people coughing, it was a bit suspicious. I worked in a factory, so a very well-known factory, Amazon, and I faced discrimination and so like mental torture. So people were all coughing on purpose. They were doing word innuendos. So they were saying things, and yeah, so I couldn't speak to anyone. I didn't have my human rights, and it pushed me out of employment, to be honest. So that was one of the most difficult things I ever experienced in my life. Like some days I was going to work, and I was worried for my life. Like people shouldn't have to go through that. I had all this confusion and doubt and things, and I didn't understand what was happening. And this is like having mental health issues, and I just thought, where are the rights? Like, how do these people be so dark and evil? And what is actually happening? But in my like after like it was probably 7 years later, I recovered memories, and I posted a video of me speaking languages. So what are people going to discuss about me now? Are they going to say, oh yeah, she studied languages and that's how she could speak languages now? So there's assassination, and there's a something deeper going on. So you're going to tell me that I speak language, I don't know what I'm saying. So this is an example. Kuršna barasna fastuške zasti isno sasnala nashka vavusta bravosta izniski. So I have no idea what I'm saying, but I know I speak languages. So I got memories of being Spanish, French. I was a multilingual child. So I've got memories of being in my living room speaking French and my mom telling me to shut up. So yeah, so I went on Duolingo, and it doesn't seem like much, but like this was after coming off antipsychotics. So I got off the antipsychotics in February, and I went to Duolingo, and I was getting like 89%, 97%. So when I was on the antipsychotics, I was getting zero. So I went and did I did a variety of languages. So I did Danish, there was Russian. I was understanding the letters, like matching and stuff. But the people say there's predictability, and like you can predict what the answers are. But it just seemed a bit too obvious. So yes, so I don't know what's going to happen with me in the future, but like these people assassinating my character, and there's like degeneracy going on in my neighborhood. So graffiti is everywhere. So it happened in Edinburgh. So there was degeneracy in Edinburgh, and it's not discussed. So we saw what happened to the shops. So nobody's questioning it, but why is there just a tacky tourist shop on Princess Street? So if anyone remembers what Princess Street used to be about, it used to be about Debenhams and Frasers and Harvey Nichols. So these shops brought in a lot of economy, and they were popular shops. So what actually happened, and why is no news reporter discussing it and talking about it? So I have experienced some things going to Edinburgh, and I saw some things, and I had a doctor, a psychologist, tell me I wasn't allowed out the hospital, and I wasn't allowed to go to Edinburgh. So she said, I don't want you going to Edinburgh. So there was other suspicious things, like when I was in the hospital, I just had this feeling like I wanted to go to Russia. So I was like, I'm booking flights to Russia. So I booked flights to Russia, and they were like, no, you're not going. You're not allowed out. So when I was in hospital, they took my phone off me. So they took my phone off me the first time I was in hospital. They basically didn't give me any clean clothes. So I spent 6 weeks with no clean clothes. And because of my trauma, I have a bladder issue. And people laugh and just think, "Oh, ha, ha, ha." What kind of society we live in when we make fun of people with traumatic bladder issues? So I didn't know it was due to trauma, but now I know. So when I'm triggered, it gets bad. So that's something I've discovered that can happen with these issues. So I've been going through a journey of self-discovery. I know this video is quite, she's gone from democracy to trauma to hospitals to gang stalking. So, and it's kind of personal as well, but that's what goes on in my mind. So that's the results of the trauma and the various things that was done to me. So this is what has been going on with me. So I don't know how I'm meant to get recover from this, and I've got no one to talk to about it. So like I'm a bit isolated. So what am I supposed to do? So will people talk to me? So if people don't talk to me, I'll have to work on my confidence. And if I work on my confidence, I'll have to remember my truth and question big things in society and discuss things with people, and like if there's something going on that's not right, what do I do? So I think I'm just going to leave it at that. But yes, so I'm Language Lady, just in case you wondered. That's my name, Language Lady. I think my original name is Mishka. So but I'm not certain. So yeah, that's that.